Let me tell you about an absolutely incredible story of resistance, one that was whispered in secret for decades. We're going back to 1839 Virginia, to a sprawling tobacco plantation. And at the heart of this story is a woman named Zora, whose greatest weapon wasn't a fist or a blade. It was her silence. You know, this one line, spoken by another enslaved woman, it tells you everything you need to know about Zara. She wasn't broken. Not at all. She was just biding her time. It was this kind of strategic patience, a deep, simmering strength that her captors just completely and fatally misunderstood. So our story really kicks off at a place called Hollow Crest. Picture this, a massive 1,500-acre tobacco plantation. I mean, it's a world built entirely on suffering, and it's right here that a woman arrives who is going to challenge its very foundations. And this is Zara. The very first thing anyone would notice about her was her unbelievable height. Standing at 6 feet 8 inches tall, she was this towering figure of solid muscle and bone. She literally looked down on everyone else on that plantation. So she gets purchased for what was considered a bargain, just $800. And why so cheap? Well, it was because of what her masters saw as a major defect. For 6 entire years, Zara had not spoken a single word. They looked at that and they saw a broken spirit. Oh, they could not have been more wrong. Yeah, this slide really gets to the heart of it, the huge gap between how they saw her and what was actually going on. To her owners, she was just property, a freak of nature, something broken. But inside, Zara was doing something else entirely. She was listening, she was waiting, and most importantly, she was counting. Counting every single lash, every curse, every transgression against her. You see, her silence wasn't seen as passive. To them, it felt defiant. And the plantation owner, a man named Master Holloway, he became utterly obsessed. He just couldn't stand this woman who wouldn't react, who wouldn't give him the satisfaction of showing fear. He made it his mission to break her. And he unleashed this systematic campaign of cruelty. He had her whipped, he starved her in a root cellar, he humiliated her in front of everyone, isolated her in chains. But with every single escalating act of torture, Zara denied him the one thing he craved. No sound, no cry, nothing. She just endured, and her silence, well, it just grew more and more powerful. And then, after 6 long years, she spoke. It happened when Holloway's drunk and abusive nephew, William, cornered her. And she didn't just speak. She issued the most terrifying threat you can imagine. She lifted him clean off the ground by his throat and told him, "I have been counting, and you're on my list now." The fear was so absolute, he fled the plantation days early and never, ever spoke of what happened. Now, Zara's quiet, powerful resolve didn't go unnoticed. A newly arrived enslaved man named Daniel, he saw what the masters couldn't. He understood her pain wasn't gone, it was just being redirected. So he went to her with this simple, incredibly powerful offer. "I'm tired of counting alone." An alliance was born. And together, they started playing the long game. Zara, who was an amazing carpenter, used those skills to become a trusted asset, which gave her more freedom of movement. Daniel, meanwhile, he became her eyes. He meticulously tracked the overseer's routines, mapping out every weakness, every vulnerability. They weren't just planning an escape, they were preparing a battlefield, just waiting for that perfect moment to strike. In that moment, it came 24 days into the construction of a new barn, way out in an isolated field. The overseer, a really cruel man named Brennan, showed up for his afternoon inspection, all alone. Zara and Daniel just exchanged a single look. That was it. The time for waiting was over. Their plan just unfolded with this brutal, clockwork precision. They lured the overseer inside the barn, and Zara struck him down with a single, devastating blow from her hammer. But she wasn't done. That very same night, they slipped into the main house, where she executed Master Holloway in his bed. The counting was finally finished. And the consequences were immediate, and they were absolute. With 2 of the most powerful men in the entire county murdered, the largest manhunt the region had ever seen was launched. The hunt was on.
So you've got a posse of 20 armed men, tracking dogs, the whole shebang. They're all out to find them. But at the same time, the story of the silent giantess who fought back was already becoming a legend, whispered among the enslaved, and a terrifying warning to the masters.
But here's the thing. Zara and Daniel were always one step ahead. They knew the hunters expected them to run north, right? Towards freedom. So what did they do? They went west, deep into the woods. They used streams to hide their scent from the dogs and even gambled on traveling during the day, a move that completely baffled their pursuers.
After 6 days on the run, they were finally cornered at a hidden cave. This was it. But instead of surrendering, Zara made a choice. She turned to Daniel and said, "Running is over." She wasn't the hunted anymore. No, she was going to hunt them back. What happened next was just a brutal, heroic fight. Zara and Daniel fought back with this ferocious courage, but in the end, they were outnumbered and outgunned. After taking multiple gunshots, Zara fell. The hunters buried her right there, in a shallow, unmarked grave. The legend, it seemed, had ended in tragedy. Or so they thought. Okay, now, fast forward 23 years. It's 1862. The Civil War is raging. A young boy from that plantation, Samuel, is now a free man. And he's sitting down with a journalist, and for the very first time, he tells the real story of what happened that day.
He tells the journalist everything about her strength, her meticulous plan, her final stand. He even explains that he lied back then, claiming Daniel did it all just to protect Zara's memory. But then he reveals one final, massive lie he told all those years ago. Zara did not die in that forest. You see, she had spent years learning to control her body, to slow her breathing, to literally play dead. That night, wounded and bleeding, she clawed her way out of her own grave. It's just incredible. Wounded, but alive. She walked for 3 months until she finally reached a safe house in Philadelphia. She got a new name, a new life, but she never stopped fighting. She used her carpentry skills to build hidden rooms for the Underground Railroad, personally rescuing 23 people. And after the war, she became a teacher, helping newly freed children find their own voices. And this, right here, is the ultimate point of the whole story. As Samuel explained to the journalist, killing her masters, that wasn't the true revenge. The real revenge was living. It was surviving long enough to see the entire system that enslaved her crumble to dust, and then helping to build something new from its ashes. It leaves us with this really powerful question, doesn't it? Is victory found in that one moment of violent rebellion, or is it found in the quiet, defiant act of simply outliving your oppressors and building a better future? Zara's story, it really suggests the latter is the most profound victory of all.